This is Robert Karua with the news on Zodiac. The headlines this hour. There are mixed views from commentators to the recent findings that poverty levels in urban areas have increased as compared to rural areas. First Lady Monica Chakwera echoes calls for implementation of commitments towards ending child marriages across the globe. More than 10 case files of remandees at the Mzuzu prison are missing in the hands of state, resulting in some suspects failing to stand trial since 2013. In sports, Flames AFCON fundraising task force targets to raise over 30 million kwacha during the October 2 golf tournament. We've got these and many more. Stick around. A social commentator and consumer rights activist have expressed mixed reactions to the recent findings, which indicate that poverty levels in the urban areas have increased from 17.7% to 19.2%. This is compared to rural areas where there is a decline. Programs manager for the Center for Social Concern, Bernard Mpepo, has attributed the development to a rise in cost of living in urban areas, while Executive Director for Consumer Association of Malawi, John Capito, has blamed politics as a contributing factor affecting the economy. Alina Femramba filed this report.
Consumer rights body, the Consumers Association of Malawi, KAMA, says findings of the NSO study are at best frightening. KAMA Executive Director John Capito points the finger at pronounced partisan politics as the cause of the stagnation in human development. His view is that Malawi urgently needs to introduce strong long-term development goals.
We are now stuck. Our numbers are really staggering, even worsening to where we are now looking at the figures, though they might have improved, but they're not even much any better at all. They are worrying, they are disappointing, and they point out to one thing that I think as Malawians, we have failed to sit down as a country and look at what are really our priorities, the thing that we can do better.
The view is shared by Center for Social Concern Programs Manager responsible for economic governance, Bernard Mpepo. He says increasing cost of living is responsible for the present state of affairs. He thinks a further increase on the minimum wage and taxation rate for those earning less than 200,000 kwacha is part of the solution.
As of now, the cost of living is around 203,000. And when you compare the cost of living, the same time last year, it was 164,000. So you can see the increase. And the cost of living has been increasing. From 2019, the cost of living was around 124,000. And now it's around 203,000. And that shows that the cost of living is increasing every month.
The 2020 NSO Malawi Poverty Report says poverty has increased in urban areas from 17.7% to 19.2%, while in rural areas the percentage has gone down to 56.6% from 59.9%. The report further notes that while poverty levels have reduced in the northern and southern regions, it has shot to 55.8% in the central region from 47% previously.
The First Lady, Monica Chakwera, has echoed calls for the implementation of commitments towards ending child marriages across the globe. She says unless the world implements tariff laws, child marriages cannot end anytime soon. Chakwera was speaking during the 76th United General Assembly End Child Marriages Summit. The summit was attended by 5 delegates from various international organizations on child rights, with First Lady Chakwera as the keynote speaker. Chimomwe Badata with more in this report.
First Lady Monica Chakwera, during the Virtue Summit, called on governments to prioritize the plight of girls, as she says many have fallen victims of child marriages. Some reasons, according to the First Lady, include lack of hefty investment in the education sector, which she says plays a critical role in ending the vice. She told delegates during the summit that Malawi will enact additional acts to complement existing efforts towards ending the same. United Nations Children's Fund Director for Child Protection, Cornelius Williams, during the summit, called for close partnership among governments. The meeting was organized by Malawi government in partnership with World Vision International. World Vision National Coordinator Francis Dube hopes ideas that were shared during the meeting will give direction to policies on child rights.
It's a problem for all of us. It's not a problem only for one country or for one region. And the event for today was really to bring in different stakeholders as well as the champions that you have led this movement or this campaign around ending child marriage.
This was a side meeting of the ongoing United General Assembly, and 5 delegates were in attendance from various international organizations, with First Lady Monica Jagwira emerging as a keynote speaker. A global partnership to end child marriages, Girls Not Brides, announced during the meeting it will launch a campaign aimed at amplifying girls' voices and this month. This is Chimwemwe Parata for Zodiac.
Over 3,000 youths who underwent training for Job for Youth project are yet to receive the promised startup capital a year after the last cohort training. There were 4 cohorts. One of the youths who attended the training, Clement Misomali, told Zodiac that at the beginning of the training in September 2019, they were promised either cash capital or 500,000 or capital equipment, but he says none has received anything as agreed. Our reporter in Mulanje Hastings Jimani has more in this report. We'll bring you that report in our subsequent bulletins. Moving on, students and teachers at Mbombwe Community Day Secondary School in Mangochi are sitting on a ticking bomb as all the classrooms at the school have heavy and deep cracks. Speaking to Zodiac, some of the students said they now don't concentrate in class, mainly when it's windy or rainy, as it becomes more dangerous. Head teacher for the school, Rogers Mpingajira, said the issue was already reported to the relevant authorities and are waiting for the response. Rafael Mlozowa with more in this report.
Mbombwe Community Day Secondary School has an enrollment of 387 students with 3 classroom blocks, each with 2 classes. However, during Zodiac Crew's visit to the school, which has about 10 feeder primary schools, found big and deep cracks that can be viewed from meters away. The students are worried, describing the development as a death trap. Instead, head teacher for the school, Rogers Mpinganjira, said the issue was already reported to relevant authorities and are waiting for a response.
Sorry. You may take again. Okay. I communicated to the Minister of Education, that is through the Office of the Education Division Manager, to the Principal Secretary. So they said they will come and they will respond accordingly. Unfortunately, this time they have not yet turned out.
Minister of Education spokesperson Chikondi Chimala has asked for more time before commenting on the matter. In 2018, 4 learners were killed while dozens injured after a classroom collapsed in Zomba. For ZBS, this is Rafael Mlozowa reporting.
The Minister of Education says it is ready to adopt the Azibambo Anguilo concept to reach out to men in their efforts to improve the education of a girl child. Responding to the question during the Apatsenmai Atigana Punzire AMAA National Dissemination Conference in Blantyre Thursday morning, Director of Secondary Education in the Ministry, Dr. Florida Banda, said the Ministry will adopt the book in order to change men's attitude towards girl child education. You're watching the news here on Zodiac with me, Robert Kalua. We'll be back with more after this.
Good news to those staying in Zomba. The most affordable reliable network access is now available in town. Get your access business number today and enjoy the affordable rates. For more information, call 0212 200 200. Access your world.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
UNICAF University, September to October 2021 intake. Special scholarships available at UNICAF University for bachelor, master's, and doctoral degree programs. UNICAF University is accredited nationally by the NCHE and internationally by the British Accreditation Council in the UK. Enroll for internationally recognized degrees at a fraction of the cost. Feel safe knowing that your online studies with UNICAF University will not be disrupted by measures for the pandemic. From enrollment to graduation, everything runs smoothly online. Don't miss this golden opportunity. This offer is valid until the end of October 2021. So apply today and get a free tablet when you register and pay the required deposit. WhatsApp 0993 907 002 or go to www.unicafuniversity.ac.mw to find out more.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at the headlines before we continue. There are mixed views from commentators to the recent findings that poverty levels in urban areas have increased as compared to rural areas. First Lady Monica Chagwira echoes calls for implementation of commitments towards ending child marriages across the globe. More than 10 case files of remandees at the Mzuzu prison are missing in the hands of state, resulting in some suspects failing to stand trial since 2013. In sports, Flames AFCON fundraising task force targets to raise over 30 million kwacha during the October 2nd golf tournament. Moving on with the news, more than 10 case files of remandees at the Mzuzu prison are missing in the hands of state, resulting in some suspects failing to stand trial since 2013. Officer in charge of the prison, Assistant Commissioner Owen Levy, has told us that the matter is being looked into by various court users. Meanwhile, court users that comprise officials from the court, police, prison and paralegals have agreed to trace the missing files. Steve Zimba with more in this report.
Officer in charge of the Mzuzu prison, Assistant Commissioner Owen Levy, says some of the case files that are missing are for homicide suspects and have been detained since 2013.
Some of them have been here since 2013, others 2015. Until now, they are saying their files are not missing, and they have been here. They are not going to courts because of such issues. So indeed, I think we have had that as a challenge.
Meanwhile, court users that comprise of officials from the court, police, prison and paralegal have agreed to trace the files that are suspected to be missing in the hands of state. Mzuzu-based paralegal Muteyo Mukuta Banda has told us that a committee has been set for this task.
Us jointly as the criminal justice agencies, police, paralegal advisory service, prison, court, we sat down the High Court where we have a committee following up on those files. So we have set up some people from the state, paralegal advisory service, police to go around in all the district, look for files. If you don't find the files, maybe try to go shoot the files so that the court can make a decision.
Meanwhile, Paralegal Advisory Service Institute PASS is facilitating the camp courts in some parts of the country aimed at reducing congestion in prisons. For Zodiak in Mzuzu, this is Steve Zimba reporting.
The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 says it has observed that there is slow pace at which to achieve the level of pandemic's vaccination coverage that is needed. Minister of Information, who is also a member of the task force, Gospel Kazako, told the media in Dilongwe Thursday that they have since agreed to adopt new approaches which will see the vaccination exercise being taken to football matches. Kazako explains in this interview.
I wish to confirm that we have adequate stocks of vaccines in our government and CHAM facilities across the country, and more will be procured until we achieve the minimum required coverage to achieve community-wide protection, in other words, herd immunity. Regarding gatherings, the task force agreed to review limitations on the people that can gather indoors and outdoors at the various levels of the pandemic, especially level 1 and level 2, to make them more friendly. For sports and recreation gatherings, the task force also agreed to review and consider allowing increased numbers subject to vaccination status of the attenders. Current request from the Super League of Malawi, from games this week, and other bodies will be treated in this way.
And finally, in sports, the Football Association of Malawi's Flames AFCON fundraising task force says it is anticipating to raise over 30 million kwacha during the golf tournament started for 2nd October in Lilongwe. Chairperson for the task force, Justice Jabbar Leader, who is also FAM Vice President, told us that apart from the golf tournament, they will also set a number of activities to fundraise for the Flames. And that's about what we had time for in this edition of news. But before we go, a recap of the main stories. The October 2nd tournament. Visit our website, zodiacmalawi.com, for more news. I'm Robert Kalua. Thanks for watching.
At Access, we believe that data is life because